Hey YouTube, on this video I am going to ride on the V-Strom, and I'll explain why the Strom later, on the California 1 or Pacific Coast Highway, or what is also known as the PCH. So let's get going, but first, all right, let's get underway on the PCH. I'm at the absolute southern point, Dana Point. Should probably close this visor so you guys have some decent sound. So the PCH, or California 1, runs from here in Dana Point in Southern California, about an hour by motorcycle north of San Diego, and heads up through Laguna Beach, then Newport Beach, then Huntington Beach, then all of the beach cities of Los Angeles County, you know, Long Beach and Redondo Beach, Manhattan Beach, and then up through Santa Monica, up through Malibu to, it joins up with the 101 at some point. What's the speed limit here? Oh, 35. And long story short, goes up through Big Sur, which is some of the most amazing motorcycle riding you could ever hope to encounter, up to the Monterey Peninsula, where Rodney and I like to go to the Quail in May. Canceled this last year for obvious reasons. And you know, that California 1 ride right there from down here, Los Angeles area where I live, this is Orange County actually, to Monterey is incredible. Just you know, kind of once in a lifetime experience, except you could do it more than once. And then it continues on through San Francisco. There are points where it joins up with California 101, and they're kind of a common road, but for the most part it just follows the coast all the way up to a little town called Leggett, and that's it. That's the end of California 1. So I wanted to show you some of it. I wanted to show it to you on Mr. Corton this morning. And God, I've just got a lot going on in my life, and I've been neglecting my bikes a little bit. I did not put the battery tender on Mr. Corton. And Mr. Corton has a very small battery in it because my intention was to just power the electrical system for the most part and use the Kickstarter whenever possible. And anyways, the battery wasn't up to the task this morning, so I just hopped on the V-Strom and here we are. And you know, the everyday bike is so reliable. I've got 65,887 miles on this V-Strom now, and it still just runs fantastic. Such a good value. Of course, I've talked about that before on my channel. And close this so it sounds better for you guys. PCH, Sunday morning. There's been such a heat wave here lately that normally I'd like to ride out to the desert. I'm a huge fan of Palm Springs, but this is a pretty regular ride for me too, especially Sunday mornings, for a couple of reasons. This heat wave has got me just wanting to stick to the coast because the temperatures are cooler and more manageable. And Sunday mornings, Southern California is known for horrible traffic, of course. But on a Sunday morning, the roads are quite calm, as you can see. And all of the folks that have classic cars and motorcycles tend to get them out because they want to run them, of course. Keep the engines and the seals lubricated, things like that. But they bring them out on Sunday mornings, and so you can see some amazing cars that people don't want to drive in rush hour traffic the rest of the week. I saw a McLaren on the way here. I am sure in the course of this ride we will see some other Italian V12, this, that, or the other thing. Or, I've seen Morgan three-wheelers here. I've seen old Porsche 356s. Of course, all of the more modern luxury cars are here all the time. But you name it, you'll see it here on Sunday morning. If you like motorcycles, custom builds, or just like a good story about a man's 3-year effort to build a tribute to his childhood teacher, get a copy of Creating Mr. Corton. In it, you'll learn how this man changed this man for the better. How this man took this and built this. How these guys became lifelong friends and enthusiasts of motorcycling and craftsmanship. And how the name Urban Monk originated. It's available from Amazon anywhere in the world that Amazon ships, in both paperback and ebook, or you can purchase through a link found on urbanmonktv.com. Get your copy of Creating Mr. Corton today. Of course, now I make that promise and watch, we don't see anything. But this area, southern part of the PCH, is really about as much like the French Riviera or maybe the Spanish Riviera along the Mediterranean that one could imagine. There is a lot of wealth here, very affluent communities, and they love the beaches, and they love boating, and coastal life by the sea, with good restaurants and nice shopping and nice resorts. What do we have here? Monarch Bay. Nice gated community. KTM. This particular ride, I'm going to take you guys up from Dana Point, probably up to Balboa Peninsula, and just call it there. It's really all I have time for. So Laguna Beach, here we are. We've left Dana Point, coming into the town of Laguna Beach. Laguna Beach has a long history as kind of an artist's enclave. Of course, artists aren't necessarily known for affluence, thus the term starving artist. But this community has long had a history of artists living here, having a vibrant arts community, and they put on something called the Pageant of the Masters every year, which is kind of a fun show. And they have a arts gathering that runs months, really, called at Sawdust, which is in the canyon leading out of Laguna Beach. I may stop and give you guys a little view of the ocean at some point. my place in traffic here. Coming from the Midwest, I know some of this riding is going to freak out many of you Midwesterners watching this. And, you know, California is just a very motorcycle-friendly state where lane splitting is legalized. And I know that's kind of a divisive issue for many riders, but truth is, it really helps with traffic down here, and it is safer than people think. It has actually been proven to be safe in a study by University of California, Berkeley. You go ahead and Google it, UC Berkeley lane splitting study. And you'll find that they found lower rates of accidents and fatalities among lane splitters than motorcyclists who do not lane split. Maybe there's some interesting reasons for that. One, lane splitters, there's a beach, tend to be people going to work a lot, commuters, and people going to work, one, are sober, tend to be, and they're responsible people in general, and a little bit older probably. They've also spent some time, that's the adventure model. Those are fun. I've thought about it, but the V-Strom is such a value. I've got so much less money in this bike than that guy has in that one. And yeah, he's gonna outperform me, but not by much, honestly. Very little. The fun diner, Ruby's, very 50s style. Got the old cars parked out front all the time. What was I talking about? Lane splitting. So, you know, they're sober, they're older. I really think if you take the statistics around motorcycling and just pull out all of the young novice riders who A, are not experienced, and B, have that youthful feeling of immortality that drives them to do insanely stupid things, and then take out all of the bar hopping, you know, guys that not real riders, they're just bar hoppers who want to, I don't know, go to get drunk on a motorcycle, which is the most bizarre thing to me. But you take those guys out of the statistics and it's a whole different ball game. And I talked about this when I was a guest on Motorcycle Men podcast, about how we just don't have, I don't think we do ourselves a great service as motorcyclists by feeding into this idea that motorcycling is inherently dangerous in some way. There are so many things that people do every day that are equally as dangerous, however you want to define the word dangerous. You know, I mean, look at flying in an airplane. The physics involved with that are beyond scary. When things go bad in an airplane, they go really bad. In fact, I saw a twin-engine private aircraft fall on one of my neighbor's homes, killing my neighbors and two guests. There's four people were just killed and incinerated out of the blue on Super Bowl Sunday. gonna look that accident up. And I watched that thing fall out of the sky. I was making some chicken wings on my grill when it happened, and I couldn't believe it. Anyways, so when things go pear-shaped, they go real bad in aviation, but we all hop on airplanes, no problem. Motorcycling suddenly has got a bad rap for being dangerous, but only when dumb things happen, or dumb people do dumb things. Anyways, I don't see it. If you know what you're doing, if you've developed your skills, if you do your pre-flight check, as I like to call it, walk around your bike, check your air pressure, check your chain tension, see that all of your lights are working, check your brakes, check your steering bearings, just, those quick little things that you do before you ride. This is such a cute little area. Reminds me of Europe, which I haven't been to since I was a very young boy, but still reminds me of it. So that's my take. Motorcycling is not inherently dangerous, and you're not going to convince me otherwise. It just does require teaching yourself some skills, being smart, making good choices, and those choices really revolve around how skilled are you. If you're not very skilled, be cool. Now, like in this case, if I sit back here behind this car, I'm at a higher risk of being rear-ended by the car behind me if that driver is on his cell phone. But if I split the lanes, go between the cars up to the front of the red light, now that guy can be on his phone all he wants. He's going to hit this blue Mercedes and not me. I feel much safer up here, frankly. Laguna Beach, Tai Chi, cool. There's an art gallery. Lots of art galleries here. Lots of great artists. I have a friend who's an artist, works with wood. Recently lost his wife. I'm really torn up about the situation he's in right now. But he's a great artist. Makes these wooden gates that are all one of a kinds. Living in this area, he's got neighbors with the kind of money that they can buy something like a custom-made wooden gate, and he makes a decent living. And those that know me will know I've got a soft spot for any craftsman. And one last thing on lane splitting, as we have more and more people living on the planet, and more people wanting the independence of their own vehicle to go where they need to go, i.e. anything but a train or a bus, smaller vehicles that just get us and a little bit of our stuff where we need to go make more sense. And motorcycles, for every motorcycle here in Southern California that's splitting the lane, that's one less car slowing up the flow of traffic through these major arteries that feed this community, and it makes a lot of sense. It just does. Now, I'm not advocating those guys that go 25, 30, 40 miles an hour faster than the traffic that they're elbow to elbow with. The way the law is written here, the California Highway Department is up to it's up to them to come up with safe guidelines. This is a nice view here. Looking up to Newport Beach there. Not right in front of us, but way off in the distance. I can come here and ride this any day I want. 365 days a year. I am blessed. So the rule is the differential in speed between you, the motorcyclist, and the cars that you are splitting the lane with shouldn't be more than 5 or 10 miles per hour, depending upon your brakes and your skills. You know, if you got a single disc in the front and drum brakes in the rear and you're riding an old vintage bike, that differential better be less. Oh, Pelican Hill Resort is coming up. Nice place. This is a nice spot, Crystal Cove. It's a little shopping center, but notable here, because I like restaurants, is Babette's. If you're ever in this area, I recommend Babette's and Javier's. Javier's is right here, next to the Aston Martin dealership, and Javier's is really just kind of the traditional Mexican, but done very upscale. Here's the Shake Shack. Fun little spot to get a refreshment and look at the waves. Javier's is great and gets really busy. Their carnitas is out of this world. And then Babette's, as I mentioned. Babette's started, a friend of mine who's a doctor who studied out east, told me that Babette's actually started out, yeah, I forgot to wave to those guys. No biggie. Babette started in the Hamptons, out on the East Coast. But they opened one here and got this amazing squash soup. Anyways, there's a lot of good restaurants here. Pelican Hill Resort has a restaurant in it that if you want to impress a date, that'd be the place to go, or an anniversary with your wife. Give you some sense of the beauty and affluence of this area. This is really, you know, the Beverly Hills of Orange County, I guess, without all the congestion of Beverly Hills. And there's one hell of a golf course in there, I guess. I haven't played it yet. I'm too cheap. I could afford to do it, but I don't know. Just go into the desert, play some amazing golf out there for far less money. Sometimes I'm too practical. You think I'm practical in all of my ranting about the V-Strom and its value? It's a fine line between practical and cheap. So what's going on in my life? Why did I let the battery die on Mr. Corton? I'm usually far more on top of things than that. Well, one, I've got the new CX in the garage, and I'm enjoying getting that torn apart. The plan with that is to fix what's broken, restore it, remove rust, get new seals and things in there. Of course, that stator is bad, and now we know the regulator rectifier is bad, so I'm going to change that out. But I continue to have to assist as a caregiver to my wife, who is in complete renal failure and has been for well over a year now. And we started dialysis with her on Christmas Day, this past Christmas. And then when COVID hit, we moved dialysis from, a dialysis center near us to our home. And we have a dialysis machine and all the supplies in our bedroom, and I have to hook the machine up to a port that comes out of her chest, and the blood flows out of her chest into the machine, and we get it all cleaned up, and then we put it back into the port in her chest, and it just takes hours, and it's really become a full-time job for me. This is Corona del Mar, a really nice place where pedestrians have the right of way all the time. Not that they don't everywhere in the United States. I should talk about that. And I do dialysis 5 days a week. It takes about 4 hours with prep and cleanup each session. But then there's a whole bunch of other tasks surrounding it when we're not actually hooked up to the machine to make sure that we have supplies and we have something called dialysate, which is the liquid that is used during the process to clean up her blood. We're very grateful for the machine and the technology. Obviously, it's helping her feel good, and she's reasonably healthy right now. Back at Christmas, she was completely emaciated, and I'm not kidding. Go watch an old World War II documentary, when they liberate a concentration camp, and my wife looked like someone who was liberated from one of those camps. She was down to about 82 pounds, and I was really worried about her back then. But anyways, she's back to now we do everything in kilograms. 44.5 kilograms. What's that in pounds? Probably 90, 95, I guess, maybe 96. Now we are in Newport Beach. Lovely area. A lot of shopping here. Another Rubies. If you guys are fans of MC Commute from Motorcyclist Magazine, Adam Waheen used to start all of his MC Commutes right back there near that Rubies, but he stopped doing that, I think, coincidentally, when I posted a picture of myself there. Anyways, this is Fashion Island back there behind all those palm trees. It's a mall. It's shopping. What do Americans love to do? Shop and consume and shop. Maserati, nothing special around here. Look at that. Is that an International Scout? Sure looks like one. Very cool. I gotta get up there and see if I'm right about that. Dialysis. Yeah, we do a lot of that. Many hours every week. And I haven't been able to work, but I am slowly launching a new business. This dog is having a heyday. That's a Bronco. Shows what I know. I was wrong. I often am. I've been starting a business. I'm going to get into the sign and graphics business because it's taken a terrible hit. And it's kind of a good time to start a business. I started my last business right in the Great Recession of 2008. I was laid off from my job for 9 months. and started that business back then, and then rode the recovery and the wave. Look at that nice marina. We rented a boat the other day and went out there. It was just great. And ended up selling that business to a larger company in Los Angeles back in 2016, which I came along as part of the deal for 3 years and helped transition my business into that larger business and scale it up, and had the most stressful and at times most ridiculous job of my life. That was a tough experience, but anyways, came with a lot of blessings. Living down here is one of them, and grown to love this place. Back in that marina, I'll put up a picture of John Wayne's yacht, the Wild Goose. Used to be a Navy, I want to say a trawler. I'm no sailor, so I don't get the vernacular right, but I'll look it up and put it up somehow. But he bought it from the Navy, or from the government when they sold it, and renovated it into a yacht, and a lot of people rode out to Catalina Island on that with John Wayne. I believe he took it up to Alaska one time, up the coast, with some guests. This is the furthest I'm going to go up the PCH on this trip here, because Huntington Beach, I don't know, that's next. I'll put that in another video. How about that? We'll go out on Balboa Peninsula and Lido Island. You can see how these people live. Coming from Fargo, North Dakota, where things are humble, to a place like this, you know, they got the Elks Lodge too, just like Fargo. But the way people live here just sometimes amazes me. Of course, the amount of money it takes to keep up this lifestyle also amazes me. Lido Theater, cool little old spot. Its Art Deco design. I don't know the history of that place, but it's old school theater. Been there a long time. There's an Africa Twin. Nice. My buddy Rodney just bought one. In fact, he just got off a 4,000-mile ride from North Carolina up to, show you this. Such a fun place. Look at that catamaran. Very cool. Anyway, so this is very much the marina life. You got a boat and you got a nice home. I don't know how much of this I want to show you. It's a bike for sale. Big twin. Parallel twin. Anyways, life would be kind of sleepy here, you would think, except that the amount of money that's required to maintain a lifestyle here is going to require some hard work. I like that one. There's one down here that has this cool German style I'll show you. Lido Island. Not any connection with the Boz Scaggs song. That I'm aware of. Anyways, with hard work a lot of times comes stress, and with big bills comes stress, but you know, it's all relative. I was stressed out when I was living paycheck to paycheck, and if I want to, I can get stressed out about the bills I have now living in Southern California, which are much, much bigger than they were in the Midwest, but my bank accounts also have more in them, and I'm not paycheck to paycheck. I don't know. I've had an interesting life. I've been a starving artist, musician. My time, here's that house. So cool. Let's see if I can just turn and show you this thing slowly. Love it. Did you see our reflection in the window? Anyways, I'm going to turn around. Stress, you know, it's what you want to make of it, right? It's all your perspective. When I was a musician, nice Ferrari. When I was a musician, I was having some of the biggest fun of my life, and I worked hard. We were working all the time, and I made something like $15,000 to $17,000 a year, and that was fine. Had an apartment, living with my brother and other bandmate, and for some reason, girls hung around. I don't know why. Anyways, we had girls, and we had enough money for beer and what we called food at the time. I wouldn't call it food now. And it was a great time. You know, now I spend oh my gosh, $15,000 to $17,000. I spend that in 2 months with lifestyle here, but you know, life brings different stresses. Now my wife's health is first and foremost every day, all the time, and at some point you gotta just go on faith. I wonder if I can get a shot of John Wayne's boat from here. There might be an opportunity, because it's parked. It's in the slip to my right here in this Newport Harbor. Might be able to see it through here. Take a little quick look. Yeah. Hey, there it is. Right there. You see it? The Wild Goose. It's not the biggest one there. There are many bigger now, but It's pretty cool because it's so old. 1940s? Maybe 30s it was built for the Navy. And there it still floats. I think you can rent it if you want. I don't know that for sure. Oh, and then that place with the mid-century modern architecture is Amelie's or Amelie's. I don't know how you pronounce it. It is a clothing store. Appointment only. I mean, you can walk in, I guess, if you want, but seriously, if you bought a hat in there, it's going to be like $5,000. Dresses $10,000 and up. You get women from Saudi Arabia will fly in on private jets into Orange County Airport just to come shopping here, and then they'll leave, you know, maybe after having a meal. Crazy lifestyle. Anyways, I think I'll call it here. That's the PCH from Dana Point up to Newport Beach, and a little spin around Lido Island because I felt like it. Thanks for watching, you guys. If you like what I'm doing on this channel, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to become an urban monk. And check out the CX500 build. Check out my book, Creating Mr. Corton. It's available on urbanmonktv.com. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.